The angel tree?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean just do what you want, bro. I sent you the picture.
Yeah. When are they due?
Oh, this week.
Oh, for sure.
All right, we're all set. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the show, Mex Talk. I'm here with my guest,
Logan.
and we're talking about a pretty simple topic. So it's about the power of pop culture. And what is the power of pop culture? I mean, one of the questions too is what is power? So, I mean, you can go ahead. What do you think this topic is?
What is power?
What is like the power of pop culture?
The power of pop culture is the influence it has on the way our civilization runs. And by civilization, it doesn't mean just America. It doesn't just mean in our local area. It means worldwide. Pop culture can theoretically or metaphorically change the way the world turns.
You know, I think there's a simple way to explain that even easier. It's influence.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's 100% influence because how much influence do these people have? Because I can tell you, I mean, especially when it comes to politics, if you're doing the right thing, no one cares about you. We only care about the big controversial people. You know, Donald Trump, Jasmine Crockett, Ilhan Omar, the big names that people are surrounded by controversies.
Yep.
Even if they may not be controversial, we don't. You know, we're not talking about that today. It's all about like the negative things that kind of bring the light. But when it comes to celebrities, why do we act like celebrities do so much for the community?
Because they have the most influence.
So something interesting to me too is I mean, we call about what's her name, Billie Eilish. The what's her name? The you know the white girl.
Billie Eilish.
Oh yeah, Billie Eilish. She made the. Talks like this where I saw her.
Yeah.
She talks about the sad shit, all the sad girls listen to.
Yep.
And I didn't know about it until recently, man. She gets real political on stage.
I have never seen her live before.
So there's a lot of clips surrounding about it. But my point getting to that is, look at her Instagram followers compared to a lot of our politicians, right? You have people listening to these celebrities that offer nothing. And it's kind of crazy too when you go how hypocritical they could be. Because I'll give a direct example. I know that lady and a couple other ones always talk about how much these rich people should be doing. They eat the rich.
Yeah.
Bitch, you are the rich.
Nah, for real. Tax the rich.
You are the rich.
Yeah.
We're talking about you. And then that's the thing that's crazy too, because they say, well, I donated $1 million this year. But they're the same people saying that they should be taxed or donate over half their income. Why aren't you doing that?
Yeah.
Why do people profit off the hood but don't give back to the hood?
Why does it need to take a law for them to give back to their communities?
Well, it's not that, because, I mean, let's be honest, there isn't that many, how do you explain, people that are there's a specific word, there's not really philanthropists in the music industry. Not to mention, it's a pretty, short career for the most part, for most people. And it's interesting to me, because at least politicians, and I'm not saying politicians should be rich. Singers are always the ones saying, why are politicians rich? They try to resonate with us, the common folk.
Yep.
Why are you rich? Because on one end, yeah, maybe politicians shouldn't be rich. If that's your opinion, it's fine. What makes a singer be able to be rich? You know what I mean? We always talk about we should care about who puts into society.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. I like music. I love music.
It's my favorite thing.
But to be honest, do I like having lights on in my house? Do I like being able to take a dump and it gets flushed down?
That is true.
Those people we don't care about.
Those people don't care about you either.
I think, yeah, it's just such a lot of times I do genuinely believe that they try to resonate so hard to cling on to that identity that allowed them to become famous.
Exactly.
So, and then I think the most fascinating thing about it too is the celebrities that fake it, that fake that virtue signaling crap. You have rappers that There was one that like always had the gangster rap Tyga. Remember back in the day?
Yeah.
Before he started getting with the Kardashians and all that drama happened.
Yep.
I used to like him. He was a gang. When I was 12 years old, he was a little gangster rapper I would listen to before I would listen to ignorant music. But and then I saw a clip about 10 years later where it was like someone like, yeah, my mama had a Range Rover. I was like, what?
Like, what are you talking about?
You know, I've never seen a Range Rover in my neighborhood. Even the drug dealers in my neighborhood had the best we got was a 2010 Honda Civic, and that was pretty damn nice.
Yep. The Civics, what is it? The Chevys.
Oh yeah, or those Dodge, or those Challengers. Those Challengers are not that expensive when you look at the prices in comparison to other vehicles.
No.
Like, well, the point I'm trying to make is, a lot they got rich off of clinging onto identity and rapping about it or singing about it. And then what happens when they can't resonate with the common folk anymore? I mean, a lot of people don't care because they still just talk about having a lavish lifestyle, and the common folk pretend to resonate with it. Yeah. Like people who listen to Future and Drake. You're not fucking 30 bitches a night.
No, you're not.
You're not.
You're not going to Tiffany or
buying
something like that.
Not.
Let's be real here. Let's be real.
Go do your homework.
Look at yourself in the mirror.
You know you got that assignment due, boy.
Yeah.
I know, but no, that's something that I can't figure out why. Why? And look, and this is not even me being that critical because at the end of the day, I enjoy the United States. I enjoy the system we have. Those people had a business and they sold the business, or they made money off of a record label and the record label took care of them.
Yep.
Whatever it is, it's still undeniable, for me at least, why do they have so much power? The money, whatever, they're selling product, that's fine. But with the new age and social media, it's different now.
Yep, I feel like it's all perception these days. They have that influence, they can make a certain amount of millions for a record label. The record label gives them all these nice cars, the advances to buy this and that, and then they go on social media with that stuff. They put it in their music videos. They talk about it in their songs. And then the people down here, they see that and they're like, that's the life I want to live. So let me listen to what they say. They're my idol in a sense. My role model.
Why are they role models though?
Money.
So, out of everyone, like, let's make it a more anecdotal example. So it's more specific toward us, right? More specific lived experience. I grew up Southside Los Angeles. You grew up largely in Philly.
Yeah.
So we, at least I'll say, when I say we, I'm gonna mention it as people in my neighborhood. I'm not talking about you.
Of course.
So collectively, we put these rappers like YG and all them on a pedestal. But how do we also try to condemn gang violence and say we need to stop shooting? Let's ban guns. You want to ban guns before you ban that ignorant behavior.
Yep.
That just doesn't make sense. So you want to stop the firearms from coming in, but you don't want to stop the encouragement of more shooters, right? Because growing up, like I said, Southside Los Angeles, it was very, very heavy on that bullshit culture. And don't get me wrong, I love my people. I love my Mexican heritage. I loved all the brothers that I stayed with right next to. Like Section 8, it had, because we had, the neighborhood was large. You got people that live in Section 8. You got the neighborhood around you. You got the port workers right down.
Yep.
It's a very nice local community. But the problem is that we're all facing the same issue. Why are we encouraging this behavior by consuming it?
That turns around to be like,
right. We're like it feel like every, because at least in that neighborhood there was a shooting every week, guaranteed. And if it wasn't in front of, it's my grandmother's block, it was all around. It wasn't isolated to just where I lived. It was spread all over the city. Los Angeles, especially the South Side, was a hellhole.
Exactly.
Obviously, in comparison to other countries, not that bad. Obviously, I'm blessed I didn't grow up in Mogadishu or other countries. That's not a country, it's a city. I feel like someone might correct that. I know it's in Somalia.
or
Or-
80 or somewhere like that.
Right. Not plagued by natural disaster or other things.
Yep.
But the point being is, in my lived experience, gang violence plagued the neighborhoods. But all we did was consume their products and called it culture. I don't call gangs culture.
Yep.
When I look at myself, I don't think of the binge drinking, the narcos, and getting a guitar and singing about smoking weed, and I don't think that's culture for my people. I do, like I said, I love the food. I still carry on the food in my culture. I think the food's important. The tradition, like Dia de los
Like
Muertos.
community and whatnot.
Yeah, so that's the Day of the Dead. If you didn't know that.
Yeah.
There's culture that highlights my people. But the problem is what makes money is not that part of the culture. It's what we call culture. And let's be honest, so is there good and bad things to cultures?
Yes, of course. There is good and bad things to cultures.
So speak on
The bad
your
things,
experience from like Philly and everything.
the bad things can be, I'm sure you've had an experience with this, drug problems being passed down by generations. That could be,
How you talk about the crack epidemic when you rap about selling it.
yep.
Do you care about those families? No, you just care about the money.
You just care about, you talk about the families, but as soon as the money gets placed in your hand, you're like, oh, that's nice.
Prime example, what was one of Future's lyrics? What's it called? Let me try to remember. It was. I forgot. Something we mean so crack to a pregnant lady.
You sold crack to a pregnant lady?
Yeah, alright, so keep going. I'm gonna look up this lyric.
So,
So crack to a pregnant lady. Forgive me for the crack, baby. That's what it was.
So he sold crack to somebody's mom. Forgive him that the child grew up with trauma. And
This song was called Sorry. So he's sorry about it.
he's sorry about it, but that's not the last time he ever rapped about it or did it or did things that were in that kind of scheme of things. He still carried on those actions. You can say sorry a million times, but if you're still gonna keep repeating the same cycle, what good?
It's kind of like one of those things. So right now, my wife and I are watching Sopranos, right?
Yeah.
You'll have the daughter of the family, hating her father because he's in the mob, but she'll gladly take all the money.
Yep.
Keep asking her for money, go that fancy school with all his money, buy a car with his money. So you're still profiting off the problem that you're acting like you're trying to condemn. And to me, that just lays ground for a flawed logic that's full of hypocrisy.
It is.
We can't deny it. And like we said, pop culture, this all circles to the main topic, has pushed us to act ignorant because it's profitable.
Yep.
If you're raised in an urban city and you may be a person of color, you're pushed to act like this from pop culture. It's not the man.
It's not. The
Man's the one rejecting your job application because you don't go to school.
The man just drops the seed. I feel like we as people are the ones who choose to let it die or keep watering the same seed that they plant. And either we can choose to plant the seed of ignorance or we can choose to plant the seed of growth and prosperity. But we choose whatever makes us feel good at the moment. And that's most of the time ignorance. That's drinking, doing drugs, being promiscuous, this and that, which is detrimental to society. But it's the most pushed thing in pop culture right now.
Right. I think, and then we go back to, I don't want to go too off topic, the power these people have. You have people right now, 2 months ago, everyone's like, Diddy this, Diddy that. Now that Netflix came out with a documentary, why are you putting down another black man?
Yeah.
Hold on, I thought everyone was mad at him. What happened?
Right.
What's going on here?
Did we forget what he did? Did he do it?
Did he do it? I don't
He
know.
did.
Maybe he didn't though. Maybe he's innocent and maybe the feds are after him. I don't know. I'm not living there.
Yeah,
R. Kelly might be a different story.
and that's a completely different.
Doesn't the Boondocks have an episode about what we're exactly talking about?
He made.
See, if someone wants to pee on me, I move out the way.
She saw a pee and she just stood there. Bro. But yeah,
I like it how he had the mask on the whole time too. I think the mask was a nice touch. But but back to it. So these it's almost like they have more power than politicians. And you have people like we said, Billie Eilish screaming on stage, leave women's bodies alone, this and that, and like that could be your, obviously for me, I think it's wrong. I'll say it. I don't agree with abortion. It is what it is.
exactly.
I'm one person with one opinion, and I base mine on my faith. And to be honest, that along with there's a lot of things about it that make me believe the way it is.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna save that for the next episode.
That's for the next episode. I agree.
But the big thing about it though is that that's someone with look up Winter Fall. How many followers does she have? I'm gonna guess 50 million. And we know how impressionable these young people are. And that's what I always get annoyed the most about, especially when there was this one guy. Remember Charlie Kirk? They was telling him, "Why are you debating college students? You know what I mean? You should debate prepared people."
Yeah.
I think the one thing I did agree with what he did. He said, "You guys are the future of the country. You guys are voters. You guys matter." You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's just as important for young people to know what they're voting for as for older people. Because age doesn't really matter in maturity at a certain point. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's the big thing. And that's pushing me to the saying is, pop culture is killing our people.
Like you said, we're the future. We're the ones that's
Right, and it's
carrying
pushing
the country
constant bullshit down our throats.
on. Yep.
And that's what I can't understand, why people still agree with so much of the BS that the singers push out.
Yeah, 124 million followers.
She has 124 million followers. So put it this way, pretend they're all from America. That's a third of the population.
Yep.
And obviously not everyone agrees with her. But let's be honest, I'm pretty sure you can go to the average American and their political beliefs are gonna be more based on celebrities rather than the actual politicians. Because I can guarantee you, I can actually bet. I can bet a random person right now, $30. Find me one go to a random person. Ask them why you believe a controversial topic, and relate it. Like who else agrees that way? They're not gonna name a politician. They're gonna name a celebrity.
Yep.
Because they're not gonna know about actual laws being placed. They just hear the big general caption, the big emotional caption, saying, "Oh, I like this because of this, this, and this." And I think one thing we cannot deny either was the over-inflammation of police brutality, because obviously it was bad. I'm not going to deny, I think police brutality is awful. But, you ever looked at the statistics of how often cops are actually charged with crimes?
I have not, but
Charged or even complaints filed? And complaints are even filed up? It's a lot less than people think. And when I found out too that, obviously there's a lot of anti-police stuff that gets pushed through music, and it is what it is, bro. But you ever watched just body cams of being a cop?
they have a dangerous job as well.
Bro, I'll be honest, every time something like that happens, it's on major news, right?
Yeah.
You ever seen how many cops die at random? Bro, I saw a video the other day of a poor police officer, rest in peace, passed away 2 months ago. Dude was just gonna go pull someone over for speeding. Guy just pulled out a gun and started shooting him. There's another video, you probably saw it. A guy got shot, right? And then the cops ran to him to help him out. And he has a tourniquet, I think, in his hand. And the guy just starts shooting him from the ground.
Yep.
So, like I said, I'm not even stating which way I believe in, but what I am pushing forward is that the popular media, pop culture and music, whether it's rap or not, or the celebrities, push forward that idea, and people just agree with it without even trying to see both sides or looking in between the lines. They just agree blindly.
Yep, we're all hurt. Hurt people hurt people. Whether intentionally or unintentionally, by the ways that were put into them subconsciously or intentionally.
Right, because you can be, I think that's what people don't realize. you forcing this idea that someone has prejudice is you also having prejudice. You're having emphasis on pre. You're looking at what could this person do based on a preconceived notion that you haven't confirmed yet.
Yep. You're not omnipotent or whatever.
Right, it's being hypocritical.
Yeah.
And like I said, so far at this point in the show, we haven't said which way we believe it. We're just pointing out the hypocrisies.
I think police brutality is wrong. I feel like people that are brutal towards police for any reason are wrong. Just unjustness is wrong. That's what I
If you violent, you need to stay your ass at home.
Yep. Yep. If you crash out.
Yeah, all the crash outs stay at home. YNs. We cannot deny YNs was a part of. Sometimes it feels like a science experiment. How much they put titles on people, and then it gets pushed down through social media. You know what I mean? And the whole Edgar thing too. Like all this crap became a trend.
Young, reckless people turned into the people that.
Right, it's like emotional, fatherless people.
Yep.
And that's what's sad about everything too. I think also that's the big problem is that you have. You heard a cat scream?
No, I think it was a kid.
Oh, I heard some cat scream outside. Anyways, we're already about to get robbed. The YNs knocking at the door.
They heard us.
They got the Glocks with the switches. I saw one video. Someone was like, "Get the dicks," and it's just a long extra loaded magazine. But yeah. All right. Actually, no. Glocks bring up a good point. So, why is it that media pushes like when you pull up videos on YouTube about guns? You know what I mean? Someone is dressed a certain way. You can already assume what gun they're gonna have. They have Pooh Shiesty in the background of the video. They got the long jacket, their hoodie on. You see a green laser. What gun do you think they have? 2 guns.
A Drake or a Glock.
Right. So why? And this is like not even poking fun. Why is that a thing?
It's just what pop culture deemed as a crash out gun.
So why is that a thing? Why are we pushing down bullshit? Like if you ask me, man, if I was running it and I was arming people up, it's like I want people to be efficient with their kills. Give them, alright, so we're gonna get you a nice little red dot from SIG. Yeah, no, we'll give them a sniper. Hey, make sure we're using the 308, 308 armor piercing rounds. We'll give you
stand 3 blocks down.
We'll get you a 6 shower LPVO. Make sure you got a flashlight on it and a bipod.
On top of the corner store.
We're gonna have the YNs like geared up like it's Captain Price. Imagine Captain Price with a shiesty. That's what it basically would be like.
Have them scaling buildings.
We're gonna teach them how to rappel.
Yep.
So you take someone off the top of the building and you just rappel down. But yeah, so back to the main point. Right. So obviously we're 22 minutes in the show. We have to get deep with it. So pop culture is pushing down BS to our communities, especially minority communities. Because why we have these stereotypes from music also. Because I feel like it's pretty frustrating to you also and to me that, obviously I agree that we should have self-accountability and be accountable for our communities. But at the same time, there's the other side that generalizes people. You know what I mean?
That puts them in a box.
Right. So, obviously you grew up not just Philly, but also Delaware. Like, you're not like that. You're not ignorant. You care about people.
Yep.
You care about your future. And I can imagine the same thing about me. I'm not an alcoholic.
Nope.
I go to a party and everyone's like, "Oh, you're Mexican? You don't like tequila? Oh, you don't want to get drunk, bro?" Or I hang out with other Mexican friends. They're like, "Oh, bro, I'm more Mexican than you. I could drink more." You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've run into that problem too many times. That's,
oh my God.
As a minority that is well spoken,
you talk white?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Dang, bro. You better have.
That was the coffee grinds.
Pass out on. Dang. I'm more black than you. You don't even talk black.
Yeah, just because you don't want
You
to.
dress like this and that because you want
You
to
got the quarter zip on, speaking colloquially, proper vernacular.
eloquently, but yeah, I never got that. I'm like, and then people glorifying that they came from, like, yeah, I'm come from this city and we're the most dangerous and this and that.
Bro, fuck your hood. You don't own anything.
Why do you want to be? Why do you want to glorify the fact that your city has reckless violence?
Bro, I'm sorry I grew up without seeing someone get killed. I lost my black card.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I never understood that. And that's the thing too is, dude, I don't think you can act a color.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously you can, act, not even a culture, because culture is so diverse in itself.
Yep.
Not all Latinos are the same, because obviously you go to Mexico, there's multiple states. People from the south side are a lot more farmers. Go up to the north, you're next to the borders, a lot of parties, city, and then you go to DF. It's so different.
Yep.
Culture isn't just one country, one color, nor one city. It's different. Go to different sides of Brooklyn.
Yep.
Go to Little Italy. Go to another part of Queens. It's very different.
But the environment.
So that's what.
The
Why
climate.
do you think people say that to you? Why do they think it's gonna be he's acting white? Why do you think they're saying that to you?
To me, because I could never understand that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know why, but it boils down to the power that
Does it ever bother you?
never. It always confused me. I was like, what the heck? What are you talking about?
You say like it wouldn't bother you just because you know it's ignorant, or just because you know who you are, so you don't have to question it.
Yeah, I'm like, you're saying that because a person wants to talk proper, be confident in themselves, educate themselves. I'm disconnected from that. I don't know why they hold that to such a high standard, but that just boils down to the power that pop culture has on this.
And that's the thing too for a lot of Latinos. People think that we're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
And I confuse that. So obviously, yeah, me myself, my family's Mexican. I'm a proud American, but my family's Mexican. That's an irrefutable fact. What I do not understand is I support border enforcement. I support immigration efforts. Not just because I want the Mexicans out of here. No, not because that. And watch it. If this podcast blows up, someone might clip that and call me racist. No, it's not because of that.
Getting canceled.
It's because of the simple fact that you can look into the statistics of what they do. And how many milligrams?
9.
Oh, I'll get one. You can look into You can look into the statistics of what they do. You know they've recovered 62,000. I think 60,000. We can fact check it later. 62,000 children in child trafficking alone this year.
62,000.
Right.
62,000.
So, and that's why I said it. You know what I mean? We can that would be another thing for another episode. But the point is the media and the pop culture and all the famous Latino singers say I shouldn't support that. I don't think that I should disagree with them just because they're celebrities.
Yeah.
I don't think I should agree with them just because they're celebrities. Because I'm not going to say it. I don't think they're 100% wrong. I don't think I'm 100% right. There's obviously, that's the whole point.
There's so many gray areas.
Right, that's the point of political discussions that's changed so much. It's one way or the other.
Yeah.
You're either blue or red, which is stupid.
Yep.
That's not how it should be. We should be blended because ideas transform, but at the same time, there's some ideas that need to stay the way they are.
We cannot be yes men.
Right. But how come, out of curiosity, the same media that's talking about ICE for kidnapping and all that, why are the same people not condemning the people that push cartel music? They're killing my people. Kidnapping kids. I can guarantee you never heard, maybe you heard about the news story a couple years back where they kidnapped an entire bus full of students that were going to protest the cartel?
Mm-hmm.
No. Because ICE didn't do it.
Yeah.
They don't care about that. And that's the problem. And I think that's another thing in pop culture I think is important for us to talk about. And I want you to explain this after I state the question. Do you slightly, not just get offended, but do you get confused of why your ethnicity or your whatever part of you is only brought up in culture when it pushes a political opinion?
When it pushes.
Or a political, what's that word? A narrative. So, BLM, the trend's over. Now it's time for Latino trend.
BLM deal, yep.
But what's interesting, it's only anti-Republican or anti-Democrat. It's whatever it is. It's not about the people, it feels like. It feels like, stop this president, he's being bad.
It's not.
Why are my people important now when you can look up the deportations by year? Obama deported more people. I'm not saying he did a bad thing either. But I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy. If this is so bad, why weren't you protesting it from 2014 from 2012, to 2016?
It's becoming what?
Why didn't you protest
I had
it?
it just on the tip.
Like there was protest. I'm not gonna say that completely there wasn't.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is it's nowhere near as pushed out. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. Before this year, do we even care about deportations?
No, it's more
Even
than
when
mainstream,
Trump,
that's
yeah,
what I was gonna say.
last Trump's presidency, no one cared about that. It was just a wall.
Too. Yep.
It was just a stupid wall thing. That was it. And that's what I'm confused about. Why are my people important when you need some voters? So, I think that's pretty clearly explained. Like, if you want to explain from your point of view.
Like, why is my culture exploited for votes and
Well, not just
why is
votes,
it
but
brought up?
exploited in I wouldn't even say exploited, but it's a
Only-
lot more popular for a short amount of time in the popular media for a specific topic. Like I'll give you a small example, and you can speak on this one. Why was the whole BLM stuff really pushed out, or anything else related to like police brutality or any violence on innocent black people versus the violence that happens in Chicago every weekend?
I feel like
And
it's
we
because
indulge in that culture.
That's-
Indulge in that music.
I feel
Excuse me.
like it's because they feel like they're doing something right and it's the easiest way. It's like how we get instant gratification from many different things today. That was a form of instant gratification, like, oh, I did my part. I put the black square. Oh, I did my
Oh,
part.
you remember the black square?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I posted the black square.
No, man, I did
To be
too.
honest, yep.
Yeah, I was like 16 and 17 at the time.
Yeah, it was like the instant gratification of, oh, I did my part.
Right.
I feel better about myself. But before, those type of people aren't going to be protesting in the streets, or they're not going to be actually going down to their Congress's buildings, holding up signs, having those conversations with those people,
Right.
because that takes a lot of effort. That takes too much effort that they're willing to put out. So that means they don't really.
Also, you find out there's a lot of paid protesters too.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. There's some guys making like 80 grand a year from protesting. Makes me
Look that
kinda
up
weird.
Indeed.
So another thing too that I always was iffy about when it comes to these big controversial things. If it was so important then, why is it passed now? It's like, I think we were talking about this last week. People are very picky and choosy with their morals.
Oh, of course.
And that's the big problem to me. You supposedly believe in this, but you're still indulging in this.
Yep. Just like
So that does not make sense to me. You say you're anti-gun and all this. Let me see your Spotify right now.
Yep.
What are you listening to?
What are you listening to? What kind of people are you dating? How are you treating people?
And I think too, pop culture has pushed us to cut people off for thinking differently. Because the viewers watching this, just from the few words we shared that we think that we agree on, may think that we're both Republican, but we're not.
No, I'm with
I'm apolitical.
Yep.
Right now. You know, obviously, my views do not represent the DOD. Even if they did, I'm not saying anything because, like I said, we've been apolitical this whole time. The only thing that we're trying to do right now is point out the hypocrisies and how pop culture is poisoning us.
Yep.
But back to what I was saying, media wants we think differently on some things. They want us to cut each other off because of that.
Yeah, they want us to. Oh, I hate you because
Right.
I'm a Christian man. I have atheist friends. I have spiritual friends. I have what is it? What is the star signs and whatnot?
Astrologists?
Yeah,
Oh,
astrologists.
That's the one that I can't get down with. That shit gets annoying.
Hey, me neither. But just because we
You know
don't.
the Gemini? Yeah, I lied to you. I just want to smash.
just because we don't share the same view on how things
Right.
should be,
You
does
know,
not mean
that's the big thing too. A lot of people
we
say you don't
cannot
act
love
like a
each
Christian
other.
man. You know, if you're a Christian, you wouldn't support him. But dude, Christians hate the sins. Not,
hate the sin,
Excuse
not
me.
the sinner.
I hope no one clips that. Hate the sin, not the sinner. We love each other. And the whole thing that it's become collectively believed by a big group of people that just because you say like, hey man, I don't think you should do that. Oh, he hates him. He's not Christian. No, it's not that.
Yep.
But I don't want to get too off. Like back to what we were saying. So that's just always confused me. That a lot of artists are calling people bigots, racists, Nazis, and when you put these titles on people, that the media wants us to get mad at people. You know what I mean? Like you see a lot of, and like we said, celebrities, the power they have, they're calling people Nazis online. That's the problem. Just because you think differently doesn't make you a Nazi.
Yeah.
There's a a set of ideas, and if you follow that group, then there's a difference. If you actually are a Nazi, because there are Nazis. I think the last few Nazis, well, I don't know if they still work. The whole thing, a lot of them fled to Argentina and everything.
They did that. Yep.
So that there's still some there. There are people that are legitimate Nazis and legitimate racists, but I don't think that's everybody.
It's not.
Because the whole idea is that if a lot of people say if you're this supporter, you're a Nazi. Well, I don't think 77 million Nazis live in America. Because genuinely, a lot of people, at the end of the day, just want their communities to be safe and raise their kids. There is nothing wrong with someone like me or someone like you living in the same neighborhood.
Exactly.
Like I said, I'm always going to be very private about my life, but I'm married to a white woman. There's nothing wrong with that.
There isn't. I have a Puerto Rican girlfriend. Puerto Rican wife.
Que lo que. I think that's Dominican.
Dale.
But that's funny. But yeah, so popular media kind of pushes those big ideas into us that aren't healthy.
Yeah. So I feel like we've covered a bunch of the negative aspects. What do you think are good aspects that pop culture is pushing on to the
That's tough to find because, I'll be honest, man, especially with media now, it's kind of hard to find positives. But it's a challenging idea.
I can think of some.
Yeah, like I don't want to be a hypocrite and be critical of everything. I can't find something positive, so say something while I think of something.
Yeah, a lot, like on my YouTube, I'm seeing a lot of self-education trends being pushed, like getting away from
the Quora Zip trend is awesome.
I love it.
The Quora Zip trend is amazing.
Everybody-
Everyone that's in that Quora Zip trend
everybody's looking
looks
sharp.
fresh.
Looking sharp. Sharp as a needle. But,
We drink the matcha.
we don't
The
do,
Quora Zips. We don't do Nike Techs.
we don't do
We're drinking matcha with the Quora Zips. That, I don't know. To me, that was kind of hard.
just glorifying, upgrading your life, bettering yourself. That's positive, and that's something that's being pushed a lot.
I think the only difference that I can point out with what you're saying is though, that's not the big people pushing that. You know what I mean? That's the problem. As a society, we've been so focused on negatives, and we're pushing down this negative crap, and all the celebrities are making money off of us by consuming that negative crap.
Yeah.
But what's someone that's famous in media right now that's pushing down good for people?
Good messages.
I mean,
I'd say J. Cole. He was at the
Yeah,
top of my list.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'll put J. Cole up there. J. Cole's pretty solid.
He is.
At least from what I know. I'm not. I'll be honest. I know a couple of his songs. I've heard him talk a few times. You know, I think J. Cole is pretty legit in my
He's
opinion.
really, for people that follow him, he's really honest. He's really humble, and I feel like people should not idolize him, but kind of
Take notes.
take notes, start incorporating that into how we act.
No, yeah, 100%. No, and like I'll say it without his specific beliefs, just so we have more relativism, more relative ideas that will go out to other people. The whole Charlie Kirk. So with at least Charlie Kirk, a few things that I'll say I liked about him was the major ideas was we should start a family, you should get educated, you should learn how to do something and enjoy what you're doing. And I looked at some of what he said. If I'm being completely honest, I don't agree with everything, but with the core ideas, I don't think it's bad to take a few notes off the guy.
Of course.
The dude made a genuine effort of putting positivity into communities, at least a work ethic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what I like too, that when, even if people don't like everything he said, I do enjoy his message of, it doesn't matter what you look like to me, just can you do the job and can you do it good?
That's true.
And I think that's always been important to me. You know what I mean?
Like, can you do the job and do it well?
Right. And that's the thing too, is that you'll have media push things around, and the same people that are pushing negative ideas against him, or maybe even against J. Cole and calling J. Cole corny, are the same people consuming BS and pushing stuff that's hurting our communities.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like what we were talking about earlier with the whole crack stuff. So we all know crack is bad for the community, and crack is awful. Crack is whack.
Crack is like,
You know what I mean?
say no.
But we indulge in rappers that talk about selling crack, and I do want to point out the difference. I think there's a big difference into, speaking and making art about your struggle, versus profiting off the feeling of being that drug dealer. And when people indulge in a lot of music like that, like Future, The Weeknd, a lot of, you can say quote unquote sinful. I'm trying to figure out a way to explain it, but in normal life, in a nice humble life, you're not doing that stuff.
Right.
But we're indulging in that music, and we haven't.
In a sustainable life, you cannot do that kind of stuff. That type of stuff can only last for so long, and there's very, very few ways to get out of that life.
Right. And when you think someone puts on those headphones and listens to it, do you think they're taking in a little too much of it sometimes?
Definitely.
And probably living in that moment and saying, like they're lifting weights about music being a killer and everything. I don't think that's healthy. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna be a complete hypocrite. I listen to some of the music sometimes, but recently I've started thinking like, I don't think this is good for me. It doesn't even feel good for my soul. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It doesn't. Since waking up and opening my eyes to how things really are, it doesn't really pump me up like it used to. Like listening to trap music and whatnot, just anywhere driving.
I think you become an unk. You might be becoming an unk, man.
I listen to the Isley Brothers, the Temptations. I listen to Stevie Wonder. I listen to Michael Jackson. I listen to Hall and Oates. I listen to anybody from back then. I just don't feel the same way about music today.
Right, and that's just a sad thing. I just wish it was. But that's the problem, is like that positive message is usually seen as corny, and I'll be honest, sometimes the music isn't that good. Like, people make jokes about Dax, like, I'm not gonna lie, some of the music didn't seem bad, but the videos, oh my god, dude, the videos are a little bit corny.
Jeez. Yeah.
But, like we said, like, we can't compare the power, like, let's be honest, people like Taylor Swift, Drake, they have power. They can swing an election.
Yep.
I think that's a power that's understated. How much that these celebrities can swing elections.
Yep. You know how like back in the day, like Marvin Gaye, he was
I actually don't know who that is.
um, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
Oh no,
Yeah, that he had that kind of influence. He was one of the most popular artists at the time, still is, but
Ooh, Michael Jackson probably top of that list.
of course, no doubt. But he used his platform to speak on injustice that was happening in the world and bringing everybody together. And people like Jimi Hendrix did the same, and Bob Marley, and they were talking about bringing people together. Now, those kind of people with that kind of influence back then were using their platform for that. These days, we got Drake, we got Kendrick, we got people like Taylor Swift and Beyonce. And are they bringing people together like they used to?
You
back
to go
then?
on what you're saying. So this was a big thing I just thought of. So you know how people like we're gonna go back on the Charlie Kirk thing just for a second,
Sure.
or people like him when people clip certain things and say, or just say you spreading hate without knowing them. So you say he's spreading hate. What about all the rappers that are directly talking about killing, like King Von, bro?
Talking
What?
about killing your fellow brother.
Yo,
Taking
nah,
his girl.
he was taking families down.
You-
Like, why do we? Like, obviously, we should care about victims of police brutality. It's awful. It's horrible. I wish it never happened. I think we should care just as much for the victims of gang violence and just homicides and burglaries. So, one direct example is Lil Baby.
Yeah.
You know, Lil Baby made a lot of money off of music, glorifying the trap. And then he also made that song where, you know what I'm talking about? I don't know the name of the song.
For police brutality,
Yeah.
I know the song.
So, I'm not gonna deny. Of course, it's good to talk about that because obviously it's bad. You know, there needs to be awareness brought on many issues. But how can you sit there and think that this guy is spreading the right message when the song before that, probably in the same album, is talking about poisoning the community?
Yup.
Like I know there's that. I don't know if you heard like the one story saying that Young Thug had to pay him to not be in the trap to stay in the studio.
Yeah.
He had to get bribed to not continue crime.
Because,
If that's true, because it could be completely false. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna. You take everything with a grain of salt. Everything could be not true. We could be completely wrong, and we just have to admit it. But when that day comes and I'm wrong, I'm saying, man, I'll admit I'm wrong.
we're human.
Yeah, we're human. We make mistakes, and so is he. He's a human. He makes mistakes.
True.
But the only hypocrisy I'm pointing out is you're condemning violence while promoting violence.
Exactly. You can't be like, let's all stand together. This it ain't right. Something like that.
And
then
then
the next song.
right, and then what happened a year later? It all faded away. And that's what's tough.
Because it wasn't about him standing up for something he truly believed in. It was he seen this going on as a trend. Let me capitalize off this trend. Make a song about it so
Right.
people follow me. And it worked for the time, but like you said,
Not even just him, but TikTokers doing that.
Yep.
The TikTokers, I mean, like, do they care, man? I'll tell you, I put money in my community. I volunteer in my church. Right now, my wife and I, we're putting money aside and we're making sure all the gifts that, that used to go to my kids, that we don't need more, we're making sure we're giving out to the community.
Yeah.
We're doing the most we can, especially in relative to my budget, to help out the community.
Exactly.
And I just don't see a TikToker posting a video that got millions of views just for the views and then doesn't do anything after the fact. Why is that person seen as a hero? And like someone might be asking, what do you mean no one thinks he's a hero? Well, wait on, go to the comment sections. You don't have to believe what I'm saying. Go into the comment sections and see who's calling who a hero and saying they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, and who's tearing them down.
Right.
Yep. Like you said, you're giving back to your community and donating toys and this and that. And I don't think people realize it doesn't even take money or objects or worldly things to give back to the community. Sometimes it only takes, hey, each one teach one. Talk to somebody about positivity, this and that, that can do a lot more for a community than somebody posting something on TikTok or social media saying, hey, this isn't right, just to make my image look good. But when you truly care about somebody and talk to them and person to person, not for, oh, I want you to see me as good, I'm doing it for my image, but talking to them like, I see you doing this, I care about you, I do not want to see you go down that road. But yeah, I
So
don't think
on
that's
top of
about
that, so obviously, when it comes to trends, good trends don't last long. That's what sucks. The 6'7" trend, right? I'm sure people listen to music. So many dead ops, so many ashes. Brr. You ain't catch that, I ain't past this. Come here. Shooter stay strapped, I don't need mine. Bro, put that belt right to they behind. Whoa, hold on, pause.
Spanking them.
The way that switch, brr, I know he dying. Oh my God. 6'7". I just bit right on the highway. Bit. Skirt up, bit. I just bit right on the highway. Trackhawk sitting in the driveway. So, a lot of kids, they see like the 6'7", maybe it's, but the point is, what originated from that was a song that's talking about killing people.
Yep.
And that's what sucks, is like, that's what spreads. It's not, the trends don't, or how to say, people make money off of glorifying the suffering, glorifying bullcrap. That doesn't elevate our communities.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could think about on the, what was that one show that everyone watched? Will Smith.
Fresh Prince.
The Fresh Prince, yeah. We know why, what's his name?
Carlton.
So Carlton was a meme, dude. That's what sucks too. And like his outer character, he's just a guy just trying to be successful.
Yeah.
He's getting dogged on for trying to be successful. He's looked at as corny.
Living his truth. He knows he's not that all smooth talking, this and that.
Oh, you know what else is a big thing too? The whole no snitching culture.
That's dumb.
So, and it's been pushed down so much, like, and it's not just the no snitching, it's the whole mind your business thing, right? So, there's people killing people in your neighborhoods, robbing houses, and I'll speak from experience. My home's been robbed.
Yeah.
Growing up. Why didn't someone snitch on him? We got neighbors. Got robbed during daytime too. So, and that's the thing. And you have all these music artists putting this music, and people say that, oh, it's just music. It's not just music.
It's not.
It's
the words.
Yeah. So, you know how people say, oh, you're acting like that because you hang around with them. So you're telling me that if you hang out with someone once or twice a week, they can influence you, but you listen to this message hours a day and it won't influence you?
Yep. You're basically hanging out with that message subconsciously. So
right, and
turn into.
I think that's just the tough thing. The tough words have to come out that it's poisonous to us, and a lot of people just won't deny that.
It's like people see influencers, they get millions of dollars, millions of followers, and they get these kind of deals. They're like, oh shoot, the people down here, they say, oh shoot, they must be doing something right, they must be doing good, but they don't think about the fact the enemy wants them to be influencers too, to push their message. It just, it's just about
right, man, and like that's what hurts too, because I speak from my hometown. So obviously in Los Angeles, there's a lot of narco music. So we talk about condemning kidnapping and everything, condemning all the violence, but we listen to narco corridos. So corridos is a genre of music, primarily in Mexico, and you listen to it in my house, especially after a few Coronas.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not a big Corona. I don't even like beer.
Coors Light, or
I get made fun of from my family because I don't like beer. I'm sorry, I don't like beer.
unless it's, what is that? Coors Banquet.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I'm talking about Mexican beer.
Yeah.
Like that is what it is. I'm sorry. Oh, I do like tequila, but that's different. But the whole point about what I'm saying is though, that's the issue is I don't like to indulge in that music, and I'm looked at as weird from people I used to call friends back home because I don't. I tell them too is we always all you guys like to get political, talk about this person's doing this, bringing our people down, but we're indulging in music that is poisonous to our communities.
Yes. I'm not gonna lie, I have a story with that. With me making music, I have this friend in Delaware. We made music for years and years and years, but it's gotten to a point where I was like, what is the message that we're pushing? Because the music that we make is talking about disrespecting women, doing drugs, this and that, bad message. And then I had to tell myself, what message do I want to give out to people? So I just completely stopped making music with that person. Don't release any of the songs that we have. And now they're looking at me like, why don't you want to get on this? Why can't we do this and that? Because I don't want to push that agenda. I'd rather push something positive.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
I don't understand. So I think we'll go back to the origin of the problem. Because you know how people say you can't understand the problem or even say there's a problem until you understand the root cause. And the root cause that we see is a lot of people are struggling. Right? They see that this may be the only way they can survive, this and that. But that's the problem. The culture is telling us there is no way to make it. You have to commit crimes. You have to do this. But that's not the only way. I beg people from back home in Los Angeles to let me put you on, man. You can make money this, and this. But people want to stay in the trap.
Yep.
I can't understand it.
If you thirsty, you gonna drink poison, or would you rather drink poison that's close to you, or would you rather look for some water?
No, that's a good point. I know one big artist group that I think that's what a lot of people don't realize too. You know, pop culture has power. We'll talk about it just in the party scene. I didn't know what the hell Percocets were up until I listened to rap music when I was younger.
Yep.
And then we're hearing that when we're 5, 4, maybe even 3 years old. You're playing in the house. You know what I mean? You got your older cousins bumping the music, so you're being introduced to such bad behavior at such a young age.
Yep. And then it doesn't show itself till you get older, and you're like, why am I gravitating toward this kind of stuff? It's because it's what the culture is.
Right, and it's destroying role models. Because all of our older cousins, they were all our role models. You know what I mean? But no, they're it's almost a sad downhill ride. We have a lot of people we look up to, even in school. You look up to the seniors, the older kids, what they're doing, and it's indulging in a bunch of bullshit. Yeah. And we look at our communities and say, no, it's not us. It has to be someone above us destroying our communities. But the problem is that that's only true to a certain extent. There's factors that you can control and you can't control. I feel like right now we are so focused on stuff that we can't control versus having self-accountability for our own communities and condemning the violence that we have in our communities.
Exactly.
And that's the thing, that this little podcast we have may not take off because we're trying to push a positive message on the youth because I want people to go to college. I want people to be successful. It's not that I'm calling you stupid. It's not that I don't like the people I grew up with. It's that I'm tired of seeing the suffering of my people in my own neighborhood.
Yep, it's like we're saying, save yourself, not
right.
In any way you cannot bringing somebody down or killing somebody or giving them poisoning the next man. Save yourself by bettering yourself, adding value to the world.
No, that's a really good point. In high school, I could talk about the biggest example. My neighborhood. Growing up in I don't even like calling it the hood, but Southside Los Angeles, that Wilmington, Pedro, Long Beach area. It wasn't the nicest.
Y'all had a Wilmington?
Yeah, there's a Wilmington in Delaware too.
Yeah.
I know. But the point is it hurts to see what we encourage and what we don't encourage. Because a lot of people I was around, they used to always say, it's the rich white kid dressing nice, this and that. Why can't we dress like that?
Of course.
And it's not because it's not available to you. You know, decent looking clothes isn't about the brand. And that's the problem too, that they're telling us to purchase these expensive brands. It's not the man. It's the people that we listen to every day on rap. Dior, 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 Dior. You gotta have a Gucci belt. You gotta have this. How about, the quarter zips.
How about you get a quarter zip?
That's what I'm saying. Look at the price of a quarter zip and the champion shirt. It's the same price.
Yep.
But the thing is, growing up in those neighborhoods, everyone, even like when you go to the Section 8 side, you see Jordans, you see all these like designer clothes. Why are we pushing to spend your money on this, engaging in the consumer culture that rap music and all the popular media is pushing down on us, instead of putting that money toward like an investment account or just saving it?
Like, why are we in Section 8 housing and your outfit costs a down payment on a house?
That's crazy. And then, a couple years later, you're gonna see on eBay.
No doubt.
That's the problem, and it got so bad to the point where even people glorified it. Where that one kid in school that got roasted for 2 hours for wearing fake Jordans.
Yep.
So it just doesn't make sense.
Like, who cares at this point?
But I think what I'm missing, and I'm not talking about, it makes sense to the people in that very moment.
It does.
Because like I said, we can't just condemn people and not try to understand them.
Yeah.
Because I can't have empathy for someone exactly and perfect. I can't have perfect empathy because I will never be that person. I can't have empathy for you. You can't have empathy for me. I can try to understand you, but I will do my best to hear you out.
Yeah, that's how.
I'm not gonna pretend like I know what you're going through. So I'm not gonna pretend like I know what people in my neighborhood were going through. There's some people that had it worse than me. Some people grew up in the foster system and are stuck in Section 8 housing, and this may be all they know. But the problem is the message that's being pushed off is don't learn anything else.
Don't go to school. You can do it yourself.
Right. Like, think about it. That's what's tough too. You go to these schools, the media is pushing down either be an athlete or go track.
Exactly. You see somebody reading recreationally, they're weird. Oh, you're trying too hard. Oh, you're just doing.
Who are you trying to impress?
Who are you trying to impress? Exactly.
It is wild to me.
Yes.
It's almost like we need to have self-accountability in our neighborhoods and ignore the stuff that's being pushed against us. But I think that's the problem and a lot of people say, only some people are built to think critically and this and that. I don't agree with that.
No.
I do think sometimes it takes someone to press that switch in someone, to at least open that path for something better. But that's not happening in our neighborhoods. All we have is excuses for behavior. And it's okay that you do this because you grew up like that. They're not going to tell you that when you're in prison.
Yeah.
They're not going to put money in your commissary. They're not going to call your mom, not check how you're doing. I mean,
make sure
what's that one guy? 6ix9ine even talked about that.
Yeah.
6ix9ine even provingly mentioned that when he was making music, it got to a point that he knew it was going to go viral. So he said all the stupid stuff he wanted to say because he knew it would make money. And then he got to the point where I was just talking about, where it's like, you're not checking on my mom when I'm in jail. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. So I think it's already been an hour, so we're going to call it an end to the show. I want to end it off on one thing for me, and you say something right after. Pop culture has power. It has too much power. But if we can't, it's always going to have power. Influence has power.
Yes.
The one thing that we can try to encourage as of now is how to use that power in good ways. If we had the same effort from pop culture to encourage people to go to school, take care of their mental health, encourage each other and say, you know what, my situation may not be the greatest, the cards I've been dealt with aren't the best, but I'm going to make the best of it.
Exactly.
Because there's too many people that have been examples and they're treated like spectacles. Like, I go back home, people are like, hitting me up on Instagram saying, man, you live in this big house, you doing real good, man. Like, oh, you just got lucky or this and that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not that I got lucky, it's that I started taking accountability for myself and stopped listening to the poison that's being pushed down. Because even when I became more successful, I was still listening to that poison. It was affecting my life. You know, I wasn't thinking lustfully. I was thinking about getting greedy. I was just doing BS. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it wasn't helping my marriage. I'm not being a good role model for my kids. And that's the thing, you know, music teaches you to be a crash out. All this, people say, oh, it's just music. It's like we said earlier, it's not just music. It has power. And listening to these celebrities blindly, you know, strengthens your ignorance and takes away from creative and critical thinking.
Exactly.
You have to be able to question everything. And I think a lot of people need to practice separating the art from the artist too. And saying, okay, I like his music, but I don't like his message. So maybe I should take little bits of negativity out my life and focus. Right.
Exactly.
And how to focus on how to make my life better. Because I guarantee you, I hope that when this podcast takes off, there'll be inspiration to someone that grew up how we grew up, and they'll understand that they can make it out the hood, they can make good money, and it's not, they don't have to blame it on anybody. Look, life sucks, it is what it is, but you can make it better. You can always do better. Because no matter what, you will not be worse off trying your best and making good decisions. But you can get worse by making bad decisions. Then things go downhill.
Exactly.
And what helps you make those good decisions is good influence. And that's what pop culture doesn't have right now, especially in our communities. So I think that's what I'll finish off for me. That pop culture has power, and I wish it was used better, but I hope people get better influences and listen to better music, listen to celebrities that are able to talk about critical thinking and not just copy and paste political opinions from Instagram.
Yes.
So what would you say to finish it off?
I would say constantly seek evolution, improvement in yourself, and use discernment to see what you're being fed. You don't have to take in all of it. You can take it in, learn how to think for yourself, learn how to analyze it, see how it affects you, look at your situation, think smart, and then act on it. And then another thing I would say is don't be afraid to stand out. Don't be afraid to be different. People might say this and that, but in the grand scheme of things, as long as it's positive, as long as it's creative for you, keeps your mind sharp, what's the problem? It won't matter in 30 years what they said about what you're doing, that this is stupid, you're corny, this and that. As long as it elevates you and the people around you, you have nothing to worry about. And that's where I'm going to leave it off.
All right, well, you know, thanks for coming on the show, Logan. You know, we had to delete the last episode because of a copyright. So we're going to be careful about music we play on the podcast. So thank you for coming. I hope that this will be a good message for the youth. And I hope that, you know, at the end of the day, if one person watches the video we posted out and it inspires them to do better, that's a blessing from God. And I'll be happy about it. So, you know, thank you to the viewers that watched today's episode. That is Mex Talk, episode 1, the power of pop culture. And anybody that has anything else for the next episode, leave some comments. You know, thank you for watching. Drop a sub. You guys take care and have a good night. The last little awkward seconds of ending the live stream.